Hello everyone, this is Barcelona News World. The following are the headline we are going to discuss. Barcelona coach to ring in the changes versus Real Valladolid. Captain to make his return. Hansi Flick to retain faith in veteran Pole despite drop in performances. Report. Former German footballer criticizes Barcelona sensation following his celebration against Real Madrid. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Welcome. After a grueling 3-3 draw with Inter Milan, Barcelona will shift their focus back to La Liga as they take on Real Valladolid on Saturday. It will be a must-win game for the Catalans as they look to preserve their 4-point lead at the top of the league table. But with the second leg tie against Inter Milan just around the corner, Hansi Flick must be judicious with his team selection as he looks to avoid fatigue. Barcelona to ring in the changes. Keeping that in mind, Flick is likely to ring in the changes as Barcelona take on Real Valladolid this weekend. This is according to Diario Sport, which suggests the German coach can give opportunities to lesser-used players in the team, including the likes of Gerard Martin and Ansu Fati. The highlight of the report, though, is that Marc-Andre ter Stegen could start against Valladolid, in what could be the German's first appearance for Barcelona since returning from a long injury layoff. Other than ter Stegen, Andreas Christensen is also in contention for a rare start as Flick looks to offer rest to some of his regular defenders such as Pau Cubarsí and Íñigo Martínez. Gavi and Hector Fort are some of the other players likely to make a start against Real Valladolid this weekend. The Pucelanos are already relegated this season after registering only 4 wins in 33 matches. However, coach Alvaro Rubio remains upbeat despite admitting that Barça have the capability to hurt the team. In any case, some rotation against Real Valladolid could serve as a breath of fresh air for Barcelona. But at the same time, the club must make sure they don't drop points, knowing it could be catastrophic for them in the race for the league title. Hansi Flick to retain faith in veteran Pole despite drop in performances. Report. Wojciech Szczesny has been in focus lately in the wake of his recent drop in performances. The veteran goalkeeper has been one of Barcelona's top performers since the turn of the year. But in recent weeks, he has failed to offer that same consistency in between the sticks. Szczesny, in fact, has conceded as many as 11 goals in the last 5 matches, with the most recent game against Inter Milan seeing him concede 3 goals. Hansi Flick to retain faith in Szczesny. Despite the recent drop in performances, Diario Sport reveals that coach Hansi Flick has decided to retain faith in Szczesny. As such, the veteran Pole will remain Barcelona's first-choice goalkeeper in the second-leg UEFA Champions League semi-final against Inter Milan on May 6. The former Arsenal star is expected to remain in between the sticks should Barcelona qualify for the Champions League final. That said, the report does suggest that Marc-Andre ter Stegen could get chances in Barcelona's remaining La Liga matches. The German appears to have returned to full fitness and will thus be keen on making his return to the Barcelona goal. The report goes on to suggest that ter Stegen's return has put pressure on Szczesny, even though Flick has retained his faith in the Pole. In any case, the goalkeeper will be looking to improve his performances in the coming weeks as Barcelona gear up for some crunch games. The second leg tie against Inter Milan and the Clásico against Real Madrid on May 11 in particular, could go a long way in determining Barcelona's fortunes this season. Szczesny does have a good record heading into the second leg tie against Inter Milan. But whether or not he can live up to the expectations remains to be seen. Former German footballer criticizes Barcelona sensation following his celebration against Real Madrid. Lamine Yamal was once again the star of the show as Barcelona played out an entertaining 3-3 draw with Inter Milan this midweek. This was not the first time Yamal has impressed in recent weeks. He was also the star for Barcelona in the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid. During Barca's Copa del Rey celebration, Yamal was seen donning 2 glasses, something that hasn't gone too well with former German footballer Dietmar Hamann. What Hamann said about Yamal. In a recent interaction, Hamann admitted that Yamal is doing well for himself, but pointed out that he shouldn't have celebrated the way he did against Real Madrid. Lamine Yamal is doing well, yes, but wearing 2 sunglasses after the Copa del Rey win against Real Madrid on Saturday. That was unnecessary, he said. World. This is not the first time Yamal has been criticized for his celebration. Hamann went on to explain why Yamal's celebration was concerning. I think Real Madrid players lost their nerves when they saw him. This is not necessary at all, he added. Hamann even went on to call for someone to monitor Yamal's actions, stating, he can do whatever he wants as long as he performs as required, but someone must monitor his actions. Nevertheless, despite all of Yamal's flashy celebrations this season, the forward has offered results on the pitch. After being subjected to criticism for his lack of scoring, The explosive winger has already scored in 3 of his last 4 Champions League matches. The youngster will look to continue that momentum as Barcelona take on Inter Milan on May 6, where the Catalans must secure a victory in order to seal a ticket to the final. See you on next video.